Anna sat on the old bench by the lake, the one she and Mark had always come to since they were teenagers. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the water, and the sound of rustling leaves filled the air. Her hands gripped her purse tightly, her knuckles pale against the leather. The world felt so quiet, almost too quiet, as if everything was waiting for something to happen. She glanced at the old oak tree near the bench. Mark had carved their initials into the bark years ago. A+M, it said, followed by a heart. It had seemed so simple then, just a promise, a small declaration of love. She had believed it then. She had believed in everything they had shared. But now, all she felt was a gnawing emptiness. She had always trusted Mark. They had grown up together, shared everything, dreams, secrets, fears. They had been best friends before anything else. And when their relationship turned romantic, it felt like the next step in a story that had been written long ago. There was never any question. Mark was the one she was supposed to be with. But now, the weight of betrayal hung heavy in the air. The words from that morning replayed in her mind.
"I'm sorry, Anna, but I can't do this anymore,"
Mark had said, his voice flat, as if he was reading from a script.
"I've met someone else."
The pain had hit her so sharply, she almost couldn't breathe. Someone else. It felt like the world had tilted, and she was left standing in the ruins of their shared life.
"Who is she?"
Anna had asked, her voice barely a whisper. She could hear the crack in her own tone, the desperation seeping through. Mark's eyes had avoided hers, his face tense.
"It doesn't matter, Anna."
But it did matter. Everything about it mattered. The woman, the lies, the broken promises. Mark had been distant for months, but Anna had chalked it up to stress at work, or maybe just the mundane cycles of life catching up to him. She hadn't expected this. The suddenness of it all felt like a slap in the face. It wasn't just the fact that he had found someone else. It was the way he had handled it, like she was just a chapter in his life that he could easily close. And now, here she was, alone by the lake, where they had shared so many memories. The weight of her thoughts threatened to drown her, and she tried to hold herself together. The sun dipped lower, casting an orange glow on the water, but it only seemed to deepen the sadness in her chest. She had called Mark later, after he left, hoping for some sort of explanation, some kind of closure. But he didn't answer. And then she found herself on the lake, sitting on the same bench where they had planned their future. Now, she wasn't sure what to do with herself. The future they had talked about seemed so distant, like it belonged to someone else. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She almost ignored it, but then she saw the name on the screen. Mark. Her heart thudded in her chest as she pressed the answer button.
"Anna,"
he said, his voice softer than it had been that morning.
"I didn't want to hurt you. I still care about you."
She closed her eyes, feeling the lump in her throat.
"Care about me? How could you do this? How could you just leave me, Mark?"
There was a long pause on the other end. Anna could hear him breathing, but he didn't speak.
"Do you think it's easy for me?"
Mark finally said, his voice strained.
"I've been thinking about this for a long time. You don't deserve to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't feel the same way anymore. You deserve someone who—"
"Who what? Who doesn't break your heart?"
Anna's voice cracked, the tears finally spilling over. She didn't try to stop them.
"I thought we were forever, Mark. I thought we promised we'd always be there for each other."
There was another long pause. Anna could feel his silence like a wall between them. Her heart ached for the man she had known, the man who had once promised to never hurt her.
"I'm sorry,"
Mark said, but the words felt hollow, empty.
"I didn't want to hurt you, Anna. I never wanted this. But it's too late now."
And just like that, the call ended. Anna sat there, her phone still pressed to her ear, feeling the weight of the finality in those words. It's too late now. For a long time, she couldn't move. The bench beneath her felt like the only thing keeping her grounded, and even then, it felt like it might collapse. She stared at the water, watching the ripples dance across the surface. It was beautiful, in a way, but it was also cruel. Everything had always seemed so simple when it was just the two of them. Now, she was left to figure out how to move forward without him. She thought about the years they had spent together. The first kiss they had shared, shy and awkward by the school bus stop. The late-night talks where they dreamed about their futures, about growing old together, about having a family. She thought about their fights too, how they would always make up, how they always found a way to work things out. But this was different. There was no coming back from this. And then, as if fate had conspired against her, she saw a figure walking toward her along the path. Her heart skipped a beat, and for a second she dared to hope it was him. But when the figure drew closer, her hope shattered. It wasn't Mark. It was a woman. A stranger, with soft eyes and a quiet smile. Anna didn't know what to do. She could feel the tears still falling, but there was no way to hide them. The woman stopped a few feet away and offered a gentle smile, as though sensing Anna's pain.
I'm sorry.
The woman said softly.
I didn't mean to intrude. I saw you sitting here, and you look like you're carrying the weight of the world.
Anna didn't know why, but she couldn't stop herself from talking. She found herself explaining everything, how she had loved Mark with all her heart, how she had trusted him, and how he had broken that trust so easily. The woman didn't interrupt, just listened, and for the first time in hours, Anna felt like someone understood. Finally, when Anna finished, the woman nodded.
I'm sorry you're going through this. It's not fair. But sometimes people do what they think is best for themselves, even if it hurts others.
Anna wiped her tears, feeling drained but somehow lighter. She had wanted to shout, to demand answers, but instead, she had found an unexpected moment of quiet understanding. And as the last light of the day faded, Anna stood up from the bench. She didn't know where the road ahead would lead. But she knew one thing. She couldn't stay stuck in the past. Not with the memories of Mark. Not with the betrayal that had changed everything. It wasn't too late. It couldn't be.